Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson, and this is the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items for you. First, if you like this episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running far into the future. Second, if you're a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All I charge is our admin costs to keep this show running. So if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says get the ebook in the upper right-hand corner to grab yourself a copy. With that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right. We are back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have with us Ari Rastegar, the Oracle of Austin, per the Forbes magazine, amazingly. And that is only the second Oracle I know, so that has to be a good omen here to have Ari on the show. Ari is the founder and CEO of Rastegar Property Company, has earned a reputation as a thought leader in real estate with his innovative, technology-driven investment strategies. I am super excited to have Ari here on the show. He has a lot to talk about. I was just looking at his very sexy looking commercial properties building down in, looks like Dallas. So Ari, thank you very much for helping on the show today. Pleasure to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me. I love the show. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. As I was saying before we hopped on, we always start with stories. It sounds like you have a good one. So why don't you take us back to the beginning? How'd you get started in real estate in the first place?
Yeah, look, it's if it depends on how far we go back. I've always loved, buildings, even as a kid. Like, I was very close to my grandfather, who immigrated from Iran after the Iranian Revolution. My dad and uncles and aunt were studying here in Austin, and I was actually born and raised here in Austin, and I remember walking with my grandfather, who was actually a physician and a psychiatrist in Iran, and we didn't share similar viewpoints, so they basically killed our whole family in Iran. It was obviously a tragedy, but many Iranians that are here in America share a similar story, a similar plight, and it's it is what it is, and we're the greatest country in the world, and God works in mysterious ways. So I always look at the world as life is happening for me, not happening to me.
Yep.
But on the real estate side, I wanted to be like my grandpa, and wanted to kind of, do what he did. And he was a doctor. And I specifically remember him saying, you love all these buildings, and, they're not making any more land. And I want you to be a businessman, and my father's an attorney. And he basically said to me, I didn't want to go to law school, and I really didn't even have the money. I had a scholarship to go. It's another story. And he said, after you become a lawyer, you can be an exotic dancer for all I care, but you're going to be a lawyer first. So I didn't become a doctor. Thanks, Dad. But it was my grandpa's dream, for me to own these buildings, because he saw, I think, how enamored I was by them. We'd walk through streets of downtown Dallas and in Austin, and I was always
picked up on your own interest there.
I think he did, and I don't know. I remember it more of him telling me that, you need to buy these buildings and be a landowner, and, that's how you create wealth. And I was an English major in undergrad, so in my day job, I'm a risk manager. That's really what I do. I manage risk for a living for our institutional investors, and our investors are the biggest pension funds in the world, insurance companies, family offices. Obviously, we have a big book of high net worth investors as well, celebrities, athletes, you name it. We run the gamut, right? But I got really enamored by it as a kid. And then I went to Texas A&M undergrad after flipping burgers at Johnny Rockets Pizza in high school.
Johnny Rockets, nice.
Johnny Rockets, shout out to Johnny Rockets. Thank you very much for making me wear that hat and that bow tie and singing that dang Frank Sinatra, My Kind of Town. One day I flipped the ketchup bottle.
I started there too, so I love the.
Did you work there, really?
I did, yeah.
Is that true? That's so funny. Oh, everything. Remember we'd sing to the ketchup bottle and do the whole thing? Yeah, so my song was My Kind of Town by Frank Sinatra.
Nice.
And so if that song came on, I sang to the thing and whatever. One time I flipped the ketchup bottle up and didn't tie the top and spread the whole room with everywhere. Yeah, with ketchup everywhere. But anyways, another story. I digress. And so, so after 2 community colleges, delivering pizzas at Double Dave's through college at Texas A&M, I was an English major. And so really in my heart, I'm an artist, and I've been very deep into technology, and in the real estate side, we marry technology, pop culture, and real estate together because I'm technically the oldest millennial. So it's just a weird thing to say. So I'm kind of the API plugin between kind of the older generation of, how they think institutionally. And we're a very, very institutional shop, as you know, and, 9-figure balance sheet, all that stuff. But I realized when I was in law school, there was an exception to every rule. My dad said that I had to go to law school, but he didn't say that I couldn't start my own company in law school.
Loophole, perfect lawyer right there.
Loophole, right? Yeah, it was exception. Every rule you learn that day one of, law school, right? So this is 2005, and I was driving back and forth to school in St. Mary's. They gave me a scholarship to go out of A&M, graduated top of my class as an English major, and always loved books, always loved reading, always was very curious, and I would just drive by these houses, and I saw the same name on a lot of these, little realtor signs, and I would see drive by for sale, lot for sale, sold. And like, I just kept seeing this, and something visceral happened inside of me where I was like, wow, like maybe this is the time. So I used all my scholarship money, borrowed $3,000 from my friend's dad that I went to college with, and literally showed up at that guy's office. His name is Mitch Dugan. He's still my friend to this day. His kids are my friends. This was back, like I said, 2005. So, I mean, this was, quite some time ago. And I said, look, I don't have much credit. I have some money. I'll buy the lots. And we're talking about $80,000 interim construction loans, selling the houses for $115,000. And what leads up to 2007, 2008, and how the world came to an end. So the financing was great. I said, look, I want to learn. Obviously, you're the biggest name in this little area where where it was outside of San Antonio in Spring Branch, Texas. So I had to drive about 30 minutes to get to school every day because I wanted to live next to what I was developing. So he agreed. And I was on the build site every morning at 5 a.m., pouring concrete, putting up sheetrock, doing electrical, mechanical, plumbing, just shadowing, everybody. Definitely shocked myself a few times and have some scars and cuts and calluses to prove it. But I said, look, I want to learn. I want to learn how to do this. And we did 1, sold it, did 2, sold it. And, getting into 2008, we were on our way to building a pretty substantial residential development company. And then they pulled all of our loans. Yep. And him being the great guy that he is, kind of gave me this option. He's like, well, you worked your butt off. I'll give you all your money back. You can pay back the $3,000 to the gentleman that loaned you the money. I'll take on all the loans. He had the liquidity of the money. He's a wealthy guy, and we'd become really close, and I become really close with his family, and it doesn't matter. We were close. We were good friends, and I'd done some things for him personally that meant a lot to him, and he did a lot of things for me. And he said, look, kid, here's your hat. Good credit. Paid Here's your money back. I thought I was going to be worth $4 or $5 million coming out of law school, which for a kid that was getting $3 tips, a year before, might as well have been Jeff Bezos, like in my mind, to zero. And so my wrestling coach's cousin, I say quote unquote cousin because they're Italians, was the head of all conduit lending at Credit Suisse at the time.
Oh, wow.
And so when I got out of law school and took the bar, I sat with my coach, who I'm still really close with. I was a terrible wrestler too. But anyways, I did wrestle. But he introduced me to him. And I had actually met him several times over the years during wrestling practice. He was a big Cowboy fan, although he was in New York. And he moved me to New York City and put me in the room with the biggest names in the world, and really believed in me and gave me my shot. And after spending about 5 or 6 years on Wall Street, I kind of had the impetus to do it on my own. And one of the investors that I covered while I was there in New York, I got very close with. He passed away recently, and he's always in my prayers. Beautiful man out of Houston, Texas. You would have loved him. I mean, just an angel of a human being. And he helped me get the firm off the ground. Loaned me some money to kind of help me get some stuff together, and paid him back within a year or so. And we're 5-6 years running, and
awesome.
The rest is history. But yeah, it took a lot of kicks in the teeth. My book comes out in June, which is called The Gift of Failure. And it details a lot of these things of all the blunders that kind of happened along the way. But like I said, in my heart as a real estate guy, I'm kind of have these two different compartmentalized side. One side is a data analytics, stress testing psycho on just understanding the numbers, understanding population migration, looking at artificial intelligence, looking at machine learning, using all the data I can have, running Monte Carlo scenarios, surrounding myself with believable people to be able to come up with the right answer, extricating the ego, to come up with the right decisions. But this other side of me is an artist. I see myself as an artist. You ask me, what am I? What is Ari as a man, aside from being a father, and being a husband, being the human? I'm an artist. Okay. I read constantly. They make fun of me in the office that I read anywhere from 5 to 15 books a week, and I have been for the past 20 years.
Right.
And that's the English major. My parents were both readers. My mom always had a book in her hand growing up. My stepdad always had a book in his hand. My father always had a book in his hand. We were a reading family. I mean, it was just, and so I've always been a reader. Yep. Great. Yeah. Just great surroundings in that regard. And, yeah, the other side of me is art. So when it comes to architecture, you mentioned that building on McKinney Avenue that we're designing. These are buildings that I've sketched out. Like, I'm not a really good, painter or drawer per se. We have in-house architecture here that are at there. I think they're absolute geniuses. The head of architecture has been my friend since we were 10 years old. But I love building beautiful things and seeing and building community and, walking the spaces. And it wasn't long ago I was living in an apartment. I mean, we grew up in apartments or small little houses. Like, we didn't have anything growing up, like I say that, kind of embarrassingly, because we were fortunate enough to be born in the United States of America and have all these great things that are, there's a lot of people that are suffering in this world. So I got very, very lucky to be born in America, be born in Austin, Texas. But we didn't have that much, we made it work. But designing the interiors, branding, marketing, understanding color schemes, understanding like the walkability, what's the customer experience, and just being obsessed with, what is that like from an artistic standpoint.
It sounds like your modern self is really trying to bring those two sides of you together. The data side, the one that is really important. And it's congruency.
Yep. And it's congruency. And so at our heart, we're a data company. At the heart of Rastegar, we are a data analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning data company that also does real estate. Okay. So
And
we're real estate purists on one side.
Yep. So I'm going to jump in here. I want to get into what you guys are doing now. It sounds awesome. You talked about data, marrying data and art together. I love that you're
and pop
so
culture
focused
and pop culture.
All right. I want to know how that comes into play. And I love that you're so focused on data because I feel like every real estate company should be. Before we get into that though, I kind of want to, we've already gone through your past. And so I want to put a stopper on that and just kind of review because a few things jumped out to me when you were talking. And I've seen this happen so many times on this podcast. It's kind of a theme is that people that get into real estate, the ones that really get far, that really, take their company to the next level are the people who had really good influences, really good mentors. And, you mentioned your grandpa who kind of saw that spark in you at the very beginning. He saw that's what you wanted to do, and so he kind of pushed you in that direction.
And that's why his name is on the door. And I say his name because it's not mine, because he reminded me all the time, put my name on the door. And don't forget, that's your great-grandfather's name. That's your great-great-grandfather's name. So when you try to do all this Wall Street stuff, as he would say in his Iranian accent, he's like, you remember, that's not your name.
That's my name.
Whatever. That's my name. Don't mess up my name.
It wasn't even, your grandpa was one that was your first influence, the one that really got you started. And then you had
my dad,
your dad, obviously. And then Mitch Dugan, another name, another person that kind of helped you along the line. So I'm seeing that.
The list goes on and on and on. Anthony Orso, who was the head of Credit Suisse, who's the one that really brought me to Wall Street. The list goes on. I've been so blessed. I cannot tell you, with having unbelievable mentors that did not need to give me the time of day and showed me a tremendous amount of love and a tremendous amount of grace. And it's something that I can't repay.
That's a lesson. For anybody listening and watching, really, the mentorship and anybody who's in your life who's able to push you in the direction, especially in real estate, they're worth more than anything that you can get. Ari, it sounds like you had, grade A mentors, people that were already in there. Your grandpa, he knew development.
A plus. If I tell you all the names, they're literally the biggest names in real estate in the world, bar none. Heads of any major company that you can think of that comes to your head, whether it's Starwood, name the big ones. Those are my mentors and friends. Mm-hmm. So I was very, very lucky, but I have to also say to the listener, human mentorship is one thing, but my biggest mentors are books.
Before we continue on with today's guest, I want to tell you guys about a community I'm launching on School to help investors like yourself grow your own portfolio. In this community, you'll get access to all the docs I use, all the systems I've built, everything I've used to grow my own portfolio, as well as instructions and guidance on how to get out there and find great deals, how to finance those deals, and then how to manage them for great returns. Since we're just launching it, the price will be set at a measly $20 per month, and whatever price you join at is the price you'll have for life. We will be increasing the price as the group grows, so if you're at all interested in growing your portfolio along other investors, now is the time to join. I will put the link somewhere in the bio or on our podcast website at therealestateinvestingclub.com, so if you are interested, head on over there. With that said, let's get back to the podcast.
And YouTube and, podcasts, and meaning you can't have that victim mentality. Well, I don't know anybody in real estate. I live, in a place that I don't this or that, or, whatever. I don't know, whatever, limiting beliefs, as Tony Robbins would say, and I'm a big Tony Robbins guy. I've had a life coach for 12 years that helps me, stay focused on my goals and what I'm doing. And I'm huge into health, massive down the rabbit hole into health and wellness. But, my biggest mentors are books, period. And it shadows, not to undermine the human element of mentorship, but you can go on Amazon right now and buy Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, or, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or, just Dale, How to Win and Influence People. Like there's just a list of the best books ever in the world on entrepreneurship. Simon Sinek Starts With Why. Just keep going down the list. Buy the used version. The book is literally free and you pay $3.99 for shipping and it comes to your house. So like, or YouTube, you want to learn real estate? You can go to MIT's YouTube channel and watch the greatest real estate teachers in the world, literally for free, teach real estate. So, and I do that still to this day.
Yep.
So they're like literally sitting on my desk as we're talking is this book, The Intelligent REIT Investor, a book that Forbes published. Ironically, it's sitting here. And then obviously a picture of my family that's just sitting here as well. But I'm saying like, I'm still reading these books. Yep. Like I have a REIT on the broker dealer network right now, but these are the mentors and there's no excuse. So if you want it,
found, especially with reading and knowledge, it's more, I equate it to working out. Like you don't just do a really hard workout and say, okay, now I did it. Now I'm
it's like eating.
I'll be fit for the rest of my life.
I ate a salad today, so I'm shredded. Or like,
right.
Come on, like this is, you have to be in love with the process. I tell people this all the time. Like, what do you mean it's this? I'm like, David Goggins. You know who David Goggins is?
Mm-hmm.
So David Goggins is he was a SEAL and runner, motivational guy, yeah. Unbelievable, like psychopath, but brilliant. Like love him to death. He runs like 100-mile marathons, like without stretching. Like he's just out of his head, but he's a genius. I love him. And he talks about exercising. He wrote a book recently that was phenomenal, but he talks about, how not only taking kind of responsibility for yourself, but going to the gym is only 1 hour. Like, so out of the 24 hours in a day, you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. 1/24th that you feel a little bit of pain. I mean, like, you have to invest in yourself. And some of the premise of The Gift of Failure in my book is about you being your asset. You are the asset.
Yep.
And so all the information is there. And so I don't want to hear any excuses of, I don't know the head of Credit Suisse like Ari did. Well, you also didn't have a speech impediment and have to go to speech school for 7 years to learn how to talk either, like I did.
Yep.
Like you didn't have to flip or like.
Yep. And that is one lesson that I really want anybody listening, watching who if you're just getting into real estate, I don't want to, focus on the people that Ari met, just that he did have people in his corner. And then he also had the books. These are two things that you can go do is just meet anybody in real estate. Ari was walking down the street. He saw all these signs of the realtor who's sold all the houses down the street, and he went and met him. You can do that.
I literally showed up at his door.
Yep.
I literally just showed up to his office and knocked on the door. He said, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Well, I saw your name on the wall. Can you talk?" And it was like, "Yeah." Like old school still works. Yep. If you see someone that you admire, call them, send them a DM, email them. If they don't answer, email them again. Hit them up on LinkedIn. Like this is a world where if you want it, go get it. Like it's sitting right there. And if you don't want it, you're not going to get it.
Yep.
Like it's never been easier to be an entrepreneur, connect with the greatest minds in the world that it is right now.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, we've already gone through a bit of our allotted time here. So I'm going to push us on to the modern RE, the modern business, what you guys are doing today. You've already talked about data. You've talked about artificial intelligence, which is not something that any investor on this show has talked about yet. And so I'm really big into data. I look at net migration. I only invest in places that have a positive net migration, and, marrying AI with real estate. It's just not something I've heard about. I want to go into it. Tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing with AI and your real estate, especially on the analytics side.
And I mean, there's so much. We built proprietary technology. I have a piece of technology coming out called Transparency on June 1st that is literally going to reinvent investor relations. So all investors will be able to see the renovations of an apartment, as an example, in real time.
Okay.
But through a private mobile application.
Oh, very nice.
With stories, videos, multimedia, Nest cameras, etc. One piece. Collecting data on the apartments. Our joke at Rastegar is light bulbs don't go out in Rastegar buildings, period. Because we have chips in the light bulbs. I know it's going to go out before you do.
Interesting.
I know when you turn on your microwave.
Okay. So
and it helps all of that data, how many times doors open and close, how many cars pass by the thing, geofencing properties, and aggregating all of that data to make better investment decisions and create better community. So meaning if I know that I built the swing set on this side of the park and over here through security monitoring in common areas, I know everybody is over there on the right side of the park and no one's using the swing set, I can use that data and extrapolate that data through different type of cameras, mechanisms, et cetera, to make better decisions and create a better experience. I'm obsessed with my customer. I'm not a mercenary investor as Jeff Bezos creates that dichotomy between mercenaries and missionaries. I'm here to build community, to build the future of what real estate will be for millennials and Gen Z. We're going to see the largest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind of the boomers going to Gen Z and millennials over the next 5 to 10 years, period. And so everything we are doing is building the future. We have 4,000 houses in production in the Austin MSA right now. We're breaking ground on 7 different development projects right now in Austin and 1 condo project in Phoenix. You know, and it's about this post-COVID world and creating a better customer experience that is safe, that's healthy, and is marrying data analytics, the real data and the real estate purism with also the core values of this next generation, which is very different. Very, very different core values. And meaning architecture-wise, there used to be living rooms. Nobody goes to a living room anymore. They eat in the kitchen.
That's very true. Absolutely.
So redoing those. No, I'm just giving you random examples, but using all that data we're collecting from the apartments, from the houses, from the things to be able to better serve our customers for what they actually need at a price point that is effective.
Got you. So if I can kind of just distill what you just said down. So it sounds like you guys are what's the world? Internet of Things, or is it the Internet of Things?
Internet
Basically,
of
you're
Things,
putting technology into
IoT.
Yep, into your properties, and you're using the data that
we've been doing it for years.
Yep, in order to define how you're going to be creating the next property, the next flip,
and refining the current one.
Yep.
And so that way we can tell our customers, this is what your energy bills should look like. This is what you should expect for maintenance. This is we can give them more transparency on what they're getting. Like, oh, we think the electricity bill is going to be $50 and you get one for $380 or something. Well, if I know what the electrical usage is over 500 units within an area, I can extrapolate things. When I'm talking to a potential customer, I can give them real data.
Yep.
So they can budget better, so they can see if this is the right decision instead of, oh, well, I think it's going to be, I don't know, set it up. Like, what? Like,
yep, absolutely. So the next question that pops to mind, you mentioned post-COVID world, and I've had on a few people on this show who've kind of looked into the future and thought about what would change after COVID, after doors open up, after everything returns back to quote unquote normal. There's a lot of talk about how COVID is going to change the way we do business, the way we do work. And so what do you see? You have all this technology, you've seen things change. What do you see happening into the future once the doors are 100% wide open and we return back to normal? How do you see, especially in real estate, how do you see things changing going forward?
Innovation. Massive amounts of innovation. Innovation or change, you could use either one of those words, happen for one of 2 reasons: inspiration or desperation. And this is desperation. More technology was built during World War II, which, obviously our hearts go out to the tragedy of what happened in World War II, which is just beyond human comprehension of how atrocious that part of it was, obviously. But putting, that over here for a second with our heart and our prayers, we were forced to innovate. We're still using World War II technology because we had no choice. COVID has moved the world forward and made things more efficient. So I'm looking forward to faster elevators, better HEPA filters, UV things, windows that open, things that should have happened years ago. Population migration trends into the Sun Belt of getting people out of California and out of New York into Phoenix and Dallas and Nashville and Raleigh and Tampa. And, it was already happening. COVID just threw jet fuel on it. There's more startups happening than we've ever seen in the past 10 years. People are forced to ask better questions, which result in better answers. So I'm extremely optimistic. So has it sucked for a short term? And do those people have our hearts that have gone out and suffered during this? Of course, absolutely. But from a real estate standpoint, this is going to change the game for the better in every respect possible.
Yep. And it's interesting that you mentioned the Sun Belt because, the numbers that I'm seeing and everybody that I've talked to, they've all mentioned those states. They said this is where everybody's moving. But I never correlated
the jobs are there. The jobs, it's all jobs. It's very simple. The companies are moving there. That's where the jobs are. It's fair weather climate, lower cost of living. That's it.
Yep.
It's not rocket science.
Yep. Yeah. I said it because I never correlated COVID with the increase in movement. But it makes sense.
Are you kidding me? Why do you think home prices are surging? It's because people are leaving the urban core and they want inherent social distancing.
Yep. It makes absolute sense to me. And actually, Texas, Florida, those are two big ones that I've been looking at. Which
they're
is
the biggest. They're going to take. Texas, if it was a country, would be the 10th largest country in the world on a GDP basis. We operate at a $12 billion surplus and have no state income taxes.
Wow,
California and New York are bankrupt.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's some pretty.
And we're right in the center of the United States. So if you're right here, you could be in LA. You can go to Chicago. You can go to Miami. You can go to New York. Florida, you're over here, which is great. I love Florida, but you have to travel 6 hours to New York, 4 hours, to LA, 3. It's not as geographically convenient.
Central, yep. Makes sense. We're going to go into location in just a second, but we did pass the 20-minute mark. So I got to push us into the quick question round. I've loved everything you've said so far. You ready to do some quick questions?
Let's go.
All right. It always starts out, and this is going to be a good one for you because you've said, you love books. I'm a big bookie too. So I like to ask 2 book recommendations, one for just general life wisdom, and then one for real estate specific.
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is absolutely at the top of that list. No question. And real estate specific, I know it's a little bit cliched, but if you're an average investor, you're just now starting in the market. If you're just a up and coming realtor, you're younger, you're trying to figure out your path, you haven't become an owner operator just yet, or maybe you have, there's an amazing amount of wisdom in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki really lays it out. Again, I know that's a little cliche and a lot of people might have said that, but, I've actually read the book several times, and I actually read it again about 6 months ago. And obviously we have hundreds and hundreds of millions of assets. We're breaking $1 billion this year, and we're going into the billions, but it's just laid out so simply of understanding cash flows and things of that nature that I think they should do. But I recommend YouTube more. I really believe you should go on YouTube, type in, if you're interested in apartment investing, just investing in apartments, how to underwrite apartments, how to invest in apartments, how do I buy my first apartment complex, or whatever thing you could come up with, and just watch videos and take notes. It's so simple and it's free.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I do it. I watch YouTube, watch great TED Talks. It's there. It's all on the internet. And it's free. I didn't have that growing up.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, even podcasts like this, or anybody's podcast on real estate, it's all
Well,
out there.
but you have to know your learning modality. I'm a reader, and that's my learning. Some people are visual learners, some people are auditory. You have to have some self-awareness around how you learn and find that modality, because you might not want to read Rich Dad Poor Dad, but you do the audiobook. I don't know. I'm just speaking out loud. But you need to know what your learning mechanism is, and once you understand that, it'll help you tremendously.
Exactly. And Rich Dad Poor Dad, I mean, obviously you're not the first person to recommend that, but it is a great recommendation.
I told you it's cliched, but I read it again recently, so it was at the top of my head. I was like, wow, this really made this simple, just to grasp your head around why we do this and why it makes sense.
Yeah. And that's actually a good way to put it. It's not going to tell you what to do. It's not going to tell you, the steps you need to take, but it'll tell you why you need to do it. And I think it's a great book.
And why it could be important for you.
Yep, exactly. All right. So moving on. Oops, I lost my place. All right, there we go. So if you could go back to the Ari who didn't have any experience in real estate, he was still looking at his path forward. His dad wanted him to be a lawyer. Go back to him, look him in the eye, shake his hand, and give him one piece of advice moving forward.
Be patient.
Patience. Oof, that's a good one.
Be patient. It's all going to happen for you, bud. I love you.
I like it. All right. So if we all have strengths, this is an opportunity for you to show us your strength. What is the one thing that you feel you specifically are exceptional at? What's your Superman strength?
My Superman strength, I think connecting with people and building true, authentic relationships, and having the discernment to know if this person is someone that I understand and we share common core values, and the emotional intelligence to be able to sit with somebody, connect with them, and understand whether or not I have a genuine connection with them and that we share similar core values, to be able to do business together or whatever it is we're working on, whether it's a vendor. I think that for me is something that I think I do pretty well, because I just won't do business with people that I don't share core values with. I have a no asshole policy.
I'm right there with you, man.
And so for me, I think if I had to say one thing, that's really what it is really being a people person and loving people, getting to hear their stories and seeing if it integrates with mine, and seeing if there's a Venn diagram, and if there's a win-win between the two of us, and if we can communicate well effectively, we have the same love languages, and can we, do we share those commonalities or not?
Yep. Good judge of character is so important, especially when it comes to real estate, because real estate.
That's one part of it. That's one part of it. But relationships, I think, rule the world. And that's actually a chapter in my book, is relationships rule the world.
Perfect. Moving on. And this one is about habits. Habits underlie all of our lives. So if you could point to one habit in yours that you feel has contributed the most to your overall happiness, health, well-being, success, what would that be?
Transcendental meditation.
Ooh, nice. I like it.
Transcendental meditation, or TM for short. Everybody listening to this, if you take nothing away else from this call, go to a local TM center, Transcendental Meditation, Google it, look it up, take the class, and it will positively affect every area of your entire life.
I'll second that one too. All right, Ari, that gets us through the quick question round. We have one last question. You've given everybody listening, watching a lot to think about. I'm sure people out there want to reach out, hear about your book. What is the best way for people to get in contact with you?
You just go to @Rastegar on Instagram.
All right.
You can go @Rastegar, which has been up there on the screen the whole time. They could just read the Rastegar, @Rastegar, or just Google my name. You can just Google Ari Rastegar and you can find me like this. It's not hard. I have a column in Forbes that I write for, every month. We've been in every major publication that there is. It's not hard to find me if you want to find me.
Perfect. And that is Rastegar. So if you want to get in contact with Ari, I'll put that in the show notes as well. Just click a little more in the description. It'll pop down the full description, and in there you'll be able to find that link.
Yeah, and you can put the website there if you want to. You know, it's just www.rastegarproperty.com.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, hey, Ari.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for hopping on.
I enjoyed it very much. Thank you so much. Y'all have a blessed day.
For everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason that we do this, as always. So we appreciate having you here. If you have any questions whatsoever, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Other than that, hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started or an established investor looking to invest, take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the investor's quick analysis calculator and offer tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automatically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the investor's daily success tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the wholesaler's template for quick assignment cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the ebook bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day, an even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
All right, before I officially sign off, I have a quick announcement to make. If you're interested in becoming a passive investor in one of my deals, my own company, Kaizen Properties, is looking for capital partners for our upcoming projects. We invest in what are known as recession-resistant assets, mainly self-storage facilities, mobile home and RV parks, and industrial properties. If you're interested in investing and would like to learn a little bit more about my company, our investing criteria, and some of the previous projects we've done, go to the Real Estate Investing Club podcast at therealestateinvestingclub.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. Click on the Invest With Us button. That'll pop up the investor form. Fill that out, and we will reach back out to you as soon as we can. Or if you prefer a little bit more of a personal touch, you can reach out to me at gabe@therealestateinvestingclub.com. So really, that is it. Again, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys during this episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.